Now we're going to talk about when you're quilting on a frame, and we're going to use the cutie to show you that. Now, some of the things that can occur are very similar to what we talked about before: skip stitches, thread breakage, and that nesting that can occur underneath your quilt sandwich. But there's a few other things that you may need to check to see if that's what's causing your issue. So let's get started. Be sure that you remove your extension table when you have it on your frame, because there's definitely not room for it. But if you do want to do some ruler work, we do have available the optional ruler base for the Little Rebel. Setting the height of your hopping foot is similar but a little different when you have it on the frame. When we did the push quilting, we started with this and then adjusted it to the quilt sandwich. For using it on the frame, we're going to specifically use the hopping foot height gauge as you see here. Just as before, lower your presser bar, lower your needle with your hand crank to the lowest position. Place your hopping foot gauge underneath. Make sure that the hopping foot is resting evenly on the hopping foot gauge, and tighten the screw. With the frame managing your quilt sandwich, you're going to want to adjust your frame to make sure that the height of the frame is low enough that it stays in contact with that optical sensor. You'll want your take-up rail to be as low as possible to the machine without touching it. You're also going to leave your fabric a little loose. You want it smooth in the back and on the top, no wrinkles, but you don't want it so tight you can't grab your finger. This way it will rest nicely on the back of the machine. You also want to make sure you have good tension on the sides. You can use the optional bungees, but do make sure that you have that little extra tension as it's going across. If you're quilting in manual mode, you can hoop as normal. When quilting, if you suddenly notice that your stitches are not staying consistent, check your take-up rail height as you are zoning. You will need to adjust the height as your roll hair gets larger. Another thing to check is to make sure that your power cord is not getting caught on anything, as this can cause uneven stitching, sudden changes in the direction of your pattern, and even thread breakage. Also double check the placement of your coils, because if they are in your way, they're going to cause some of those same issues. Same thing if you're using bungees. If you're getting skip stitches, be sure to check that hopping foot height. You might have it a little too high. Another thing to keep in mind, of course, is your thread tension, so be sure that you have your tension set in your bobbin and your upper as well. Another thing to consider is if you're getting that nesting, there's a good chance that you might have left your foot up, so make sure that you put it in the down position. If you're still getting thread nesting, then it's definitely an issue of tension with either your bobbin or your upper thread. And then when you're quilting on the frame, if you move the carriage and the machine too fast, this can also cause your thread to break and sometimes your needle. So find a consistent movement speed that works for you and the machine. Another thing that is different when quilting on a frame and can cause your thread to fray and break is horizontal line quilting from right to left. When you go right to left for long periods of time, you create more strain on the hook, which rotates one direction. The longer it is in opposing directions, the more strain, and eventually something will break, and the thread has the least amount of tensile strength in comparison to everything else. We highly recommend quilting from left to right when doing a horizontal lines for the best experience. Short distances and angles cause less strain, or strain that is temporary and alleviated when you change directions back. Lastly, if you're having trouble getting your bobbin thread to come up when starting, remember to leave a long enough tail that the tail is not getting caught on anything. If it's too short, it will pull back through the quilt before you can get a hold of it. Well, I hope this series of videos has helped you understand how to troubleshoot your Little Rebel, everything from sewing to quilting on there, and gotten you back to what you wanted to do. If you need more information, again, be sure to check out your manual, because it will go into more detail over some of the things that we covered in this series. And if you need a copy of it, you can get a PDF on our website, graceframe.com, under our resources and machines. If you'd like to know more about the Little Rebel, also check out our website, graceframe.com, or contact sales@graceframe.com. Hope you have really enjoyed this, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them in the comments below. Thanks again.